All right, let's get into this. We're going to unpack a story that's all about a massive failure, a request that makes absolutely no sense, and a twist that, well, it changes everything. I mean, it's a question we've all asked ourselves, right? When do you call it a day? You've put in the work, you're totally drained, you've got nothing left. Is that it? Is it time to just stop? Well, for one guy, the answer to that question was about to get really, really interesting. So picture this. We're down at the shore of a lake. There's this crew of fishermen, total pros, and they've just finished a long, grueling all-nighter. And they've caught nothing. Zip. For them, the workday is over. Stick a fork in it, it's done.
Okay, let's really set the scene here. The source material for this story, the sermon, it points out 3 super specific signs that basically scream, "We are done here."
And what's so cool about this is how clear the signals are. I mean, think about it. Number 1, the boat's on the shore, not just tied up, but hauled onto the land. Number 2, the fishermen are out of the boat. They're on solid ground. And number 3, and this is the big one, they're washing their nets. You don't wash your tools until the job is completely over, right? Every single one of these actions is like a giant flashing sign that says, "The end." And you gotta understand, this wasn't just clocking out after a normal day. Nope, they worked all night long. Just imagine it, throwing the nets, pulling them in, over and over, for nothing. Absolutely nothing to show for it. Talk about a total bust, a complete professional failure. So right when they're at their lowest, totally defeated, cleaning up, that's when the story takes a turn. Someone new shows up, and this guy, who is definitely not a fisherman, gives them an order that goes against everything they know about their own job. And you can just feel the tension here, right? On one side, you have Peter's reality. He's the pro, he knows they fished all night and caught zip. He knows it's daytime now, which is the absolute worst time for fishing. And then, on the other side, you have Jesus' command. Hey, go back out into the deep water and lower your nets. I mean, from a professional standpoint, this is just insane. It makes zero sense. And that's really the heart of the conflict, isn't it? I mean, put yourself in his shoes. You're an expert at what you do. You've just failed miserably after trying everything you know. And then some guy, an outsider, tells you to do the one thing you are certain won't work. What on earth do you do? And this is the pivot point of the entire story. Peter has a choice to make, and it's not going to be based on his gut, his experience, or his logic. It's going to be based on something else entirely. I mean, listen to this response. It's incredible. Peter basically says, "Look, master, we've been working our tails off all night and have nothing to show for it." He's laying out the facts. He's not pretending this makes sense. But because you say so. Wow. He completely flips the script. He decides to follow the command, not because he thinks it'll work, but just because of who said it. And this is a really key insight from the sermon, right? Peter isn't suddenly filled with faith that this is going to work. Why would he be? No, this is all about obedience. He's probably thinking, all right, fine, I'll do this crazy thing. I'll get my nice clean nets all wet and smelly again, just because you told me to. It's an act of pure trust in the person, not the plan. And what happens next? Because of that one single act of obedience, well, it's not just a little bit of success. It's something that completely shatters all expectations. Just think about this number for a second. 2. Why 2? Because the result was so massive, so overwhelming, one boat just wasn't going to cut it. So they do it. They lower the nets, and boom, the catch is so huge, the nets actually start to break. They have to call their buddies in the other boat to come help them haul it in. And they fill both boats so full of fish that the boats themselves start to sink. This wasn't a good day at the office. This was impossible. A boat-sinking, mind-bending miracle. Okay, so they have a ridiculous amount of fish, right? But here's the twist. And this is the most important part of the whole story. It was never really about the fish. The fish were just the opening act for something much, much bigger happening inside of Peter. So what's his reaction to this incredible haul? Does he start celebrating, counting the money he's going to make? No way. He falls down at Jesus' feet and basically says, "Get away from me, I'm a mess. I'm not worthy to be near you." In that moment, he saw it. This wasn't about fishing. He was in the presence of someone truly divine, and it made him see himself in a whole new light. So that begs the real question, right? If this wasn't about making Peter rich, then what was it all for? What was the point of this spectacular, over-the-top, boat-sinking catch?
And here it is, the big reveal. Jesus says, "Don't be afraid. From now on, you're going to fish for people." See? He wasn't there to make Peter a better fisherman. He was there to give him a brand new job. That whole miracle, it was basically the most epic job interview of all time.
So, okay, great story, but what does it have to do with us? Well, this is where we get to the real takeaway. The sermon connects this all to a theme that is super relevant for anyone who feels like they've hit a dead end. And it all boils down to one powerful idea: discernment. You know, that ability to really understand what's going on. In this case, it's about knowing what your failure actually means. Is it a sign to push harder? Or is it a sign to just stop? Because the same failure could mean two totally different things.
And this is really the core question for you and for me, right? When you're on your own shore, you're exhausted, your nets are empty, what is God trying to tell you? Is he saying, hey, hang in there, persevere? Or is he saying, you know what, this chapter is done? Is it maybe a challenge to go out one more time, but to do it with him this time? Or, and this is the big one, is that failure actually an invitation to leave your old nets behind for something completely new?
And that's really the final thought, isn't it? Peter was 100% sure his day had ended in failure. But he wasn't at the end of his story. He was just at the end of the first chapter. So what about your story? That thing in your life where you feel like you've hit the final page? Maybe it's worth taking one more look. Because sometimes what feels like the end is actually just the beginning.